First of all, I want to apologize to everyone in America that had to watch the coverage of the draft last night, waiting for Yanic to get picked. Because that's bad TV.
Yeah, it was.
That's bad TV. And
it was.
It's awful.
I agree.
Now, let's get to the history that was made last night, because Yanic Konan Niederhauser is the first ever first-round pick for Penn State basketball in the modern era. Again, Jesse Arnell back in the 50s, different time, different league. But he went exactly where you and I said he would go on the show yesterday, right?
Yep.
Said he'd go 30 to the Clippers. Yep. And I explained why yesterday I thought he would go there. Number one, the Clippers had a need. And it's not they had one other pick in the draft before that, didn't they?
No, I don't think so. They traded that pick to Oklahoma City.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oklahoma City got it. They had a need for a backup center. A need. And he fit what they wanted. And I knew they were keeping a close eye on him, especially after the trip to Los Angeles and the day Penn State practiced at the Intuit Dome. And they were around, and that was the irony, is that's the day Ben Simmons came in. He just signed that, he just signed, and it was his first day in. And there's another interesting connection here, because James Harden's there. Well, you don't think Scott Pera, who's Penn State's new general manager, was James Harden's high school coach? And they still have a tremendous relationship to this day. Not a good one, tremendous relationship. You don't think Scott's telling him what they're getting in him? Look, this is what he's going to bring. He'll be a backup center. Nurkic will be he'll be the primary guy.
Sure.
Yanic will come in, outstanding at pick and roll rim runs. I mean, outstanding at it, which is a big part of the NBA game.
Huge.
Right? Ability to block shots. Now, does he need to take better angles defensively when he's in drop coverage? Yes. There's no doubt about that. There's certain things. And does he need to be more consistent as a face-up shooter, which, by the way, he will do. I've seen Yanic shoot enough jump shots, which a lot of people here did not see, because Yanic only attempted 11 threes this year. Okay? And 10 of them were in the non-conference. I think it was only one he attempted in the Big Ten season. That was going to be, for Joe Crispin, a point of emphasis for Yanic had he stayed here at Penn State, was that he wanted him to take at least 3 threes a game. Not 11 on the season. In other words, he was hoping he'd take between 40 and 50 threes in the upcoming season. Okay? And if not more, maybe take 70 threes. With the idea, if he could hit a third of them, 33%, great, because he has that capability. All the Penn State bigs, when they're doing, they do different things. Where Mike will have them do, one day it's free throws, I'm not going to get into the numbers they have to shoot and things like that. Then another day it's going to be, what they call 5 minutes of threes, where you got to go around corner, wing, top of the key, wing, corner. Okay, so basically, go around the perimeter and do that. Everybody does it. So, you know how many threes I've seen Yanic shoot? I couldn't even begin to tell you how many threes I've seen him shoot. Right? And he's good at it. It's just he didn't take them in a game.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, he was just 1 for 11. Yeah, I know. I understand that's the part you saw. There's a completely different parts that we see that you don't get to see. And so I can speak to it that he's capable of hitting that shot. And at the next level, the shot, by the way, in the corner is the same length as the college shot.
Yeah.
Okay? The top of the key and the wings are shorter in college than they are in the NBA, but the corner threes are the same length. So he'll be able to shoot that shot. He has ridiculous tools. You're talking standing there, he puts his hand up, he's 9'3". I mean, standing height with wing, 9'3". Quickness, feet, okay? The one thing he has to do is when he gets into his first couple of NBA games is be calm, right? Because like the USC game was a perfect example. He was coming off the injury. He was all excited. He felt great. He's like, hey, it's like, slow down. Yo, it's okay. I know you're happy to be out here. Believe me, nobody's happier than we are to see you out here. Okay, come on. But you want to talk about betting on yourself, which he did, but he bet on himself with a backup plan. Okay?
Sure.
He goes down to Miami in the pre-draft camp early April. I remember I said to Pat Flannery, and knew he shot the ball well. I said, Pat, at minimum, he's going to get a G League elite invite. Right? He goes, yeah. He says, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I said, yeah. Well, he gets the G League elite invite. Well, then I looked at the rosters. I told this story already. I looked at the rosters, who the other three centers were, because there's 4 teams, 44 players. I'm going, he's gonna crush these people. And he did.
Yeah.
Plus the measurables, everything. So he goes to the combine. Came back to earth a little bit during the combine, which you expected. But then what really started helping him was, A, he held his own. Right? So he didn't drop in evaluation. He looked like he could play with everybody, even though he wasn't dominating like he was in the G League elite. But he looked like he could play with everybody. Like, that's a big plus. Okay. Well, then, because of the last vestiges of the unrestricted NIL money, people started going back for another season of college because of that, the attrition rate allowed him to move up. But you have to have need. The Clippers had a need, and the need was a backup center. And the irony is Seth Lundy's with the Clippers.
Yeah.
All right, that's the irony of this. Now let's get to, okay, so he bets on himself with the backup plan being, I'm going back to Penn State. Well, he likes what he hears from everybody, so he stays in the draft. 3 years, $6.5 million, guaranteed. Guaranteed. No matter what happens in life. When he gets to the age of 25, he'll have $6.5 million. By the way, with the option for a 4th year.
4th year? Yep, absolutely.
Okay? And that's where he is. And believe me, when you're a first-round pick, you have to play your way out of the league.
Yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Right? Especially when you have that kind of athleticism at 6'11", almost 7 feet tall, and the kind of footwork that he has. Again, pick and rolls, outstanding.
Yeah.
Rim runs, fabulous. Okay? Good passer. You actually can run an offense through Yanic, which I pointed out last summer. I said, you look at this guy, he can pass. Does he have to be an excellent shot blocker? Excellent shot blocker. Now, does he need to do a better job on angles and drop coverage? Yes. Okay? Right?
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, that's what he needs, an area where he'll need to improve. But he'll improve on that. He'll be fine because he wants to be good. Now, this makes a big statement about, it's not Mike Rhodes' ever first-round pick because Bones Highland was picked in the first round by the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
But for Brent Scott and Mike, they did a great job of identifying him. And you look at the last 2 years, the 2 big men Penn State have had. I had never seen Yanic play until I saw him on the practice floor for Penn State a year ago. Okay. Qudus Wahab, Penn State played Georgetown and Maryland when Wahab was on the roster, so I did several Q games. The Qudus Wahab who came in 2 years ago in June to the Qudus Wahab who left after the Big Ten tournament in March a year ago is a completely different player. And Q, the way he played, especially the last 2 months of the season, is a tribute to him, but also to Big B, Brent Scott. Yanic, all credit to him for all the work he did. And, of course, the natural gifts he has and how he's able to channel it. But a great job, again, by Brent Scott of getting the most out of Yanic to get him into the first round where others could not. I mean, Q worked with Patrick Ewing, as his head coach, right? Twice.
Mm-hmm.
And Big B got more out of him than Patrick Ewing did, okay? Yanic, everywhere he's been, Big B and Penn State got more out of him. Mike Rhodes got more out of him than anywhere he's ever been. So if you're a big and you want to develop and get the best out of it, Mike Rhodes, Brent Scott, and this staff have shown you come here, okay? See, I'm not just using Yanic as an example. I'm using Qudus Wahab as another example. Because I watched from day one to his last day here. And I mean day one. I was at practice yesterday morning. I'll go to the summer workouts. I'm trying to get a read on everybody and where they are and what they're doing. Everybody. So I know what's starting point A and what's end point Z. And that's what impresses me. Two big men, both dramatically improved under the tutelage of Mike Rhodes, Brent Scott. And then, of course, let's give Jamal Brunt credit because he worked so hard on the defensive part. Let's give Joe Crispin credit. Jimmy Martelli, of course, deserves credit as well. He was part of the staff. All right. But to see two big men go from the middle of June, one in the middle of June of 23, to March of 24, and to be so much better. Right? And to see Yanic Konan Niederhauser go from June of 2024 all the way to March 2025 and develop into a first-round draft pick is a credit to both the young men. Mm-hmm. They've got to put the work in. They have to make it happen. They also have to believe in what they're being told. Okay? Yep. But it's also a credit to Mike Rhodes, Brent Scott, and, of course, others like Jamal Brunt, Joe Crispin, Jimmy Martelli being added in as well. I mean, it makes a big difference. And so that's what this is, and it's Penn State's first ever first-round pick. So it's history. I mean, in the modern era, because